Hello there, this is Amanda Price. I'm your professor for the General Psychology online course, and I wanted to just do a brief orientation video, particularly since I imagine many of you have never taken an online course, and perhaps some of you have never taken a course at the Pennsylvania College of Health Sciences. We still have a week before the course starts, and I will be posting another video when the course actually starts, but this is really just to orient you, cover a couple of the basics, so as you're becoming familiar with the course, you have this video as somewhat of a guide. I've opened up the page here on the announcements, so when you go to Blackboard and click on our course, this is where you will open up. As I have on here, the course doesn't begin for another week, and really in the first week you will not necessarily be covering new content. The first week is really dedicated to helping you become familiar with the course, and this week really just making this orientation video, so if you have no experience with Blackboard, no experience with an online course, you can get your feet wet, if you will. The first thing that you'll need to do is access the syllabus, and so you go to Syllabus and Introduction here and click on our syllabus. This is essentially the contract that I have created. I'm letting you know what you can expect to do in the course. I also encourage you to download the course schedule. This is a detailed listing of everything that we'll be doing week by week. Alright, I've pulled up the syllabus here, and I'm not going to go through each individual section. You will do that on your own time, but there are a few things that I wanted to draw your attention to. The first thing is this time allotment right here. Now, if you were taking a traditional in-class type of course, you would be spending 45 hours in the actual classroom. That's 3 hours a week, 15 weeks. Now, since we aren't going to be meeting in class, what I have done is created alternative assignments so that you can cover that material, you can engage with it online as opposed to in class. The way we will be doing this is, first of all, every week we will have a discussion board online that you are expected to contribute to, and in fact, one of those weeks you will be facilitating or leading the online discussion. Additionally, most weeks you will have either assignment to contribute to a class wiki, or you will be asked to write a short reflection in a personal journal that only I see. Additionally, you'll have online quizzes. There are 3 of them. You have 2 hours. These are open book, open note quizzes, but of course you are expected to take them independently. And then finally, the online instruction is mainly videos. These are professionally produced videos for the most part. I think they're really interesting. Occasionally there are websites that you would need to review, but mainly the online instruction refers to videos. Alright, if you are new to the online environment or a PA college environment, you definitely want to make sure that on the Blackboard login page you test your computer's compatibility with Blackboard to make sure everything's going to work properly. This is particularly important since we're doing online quizzes and links to online videos. If you do have questions with how to use Blackboard, I will certainly try to answer them to the best of my ability, but you might also find it useful to go to either send an email to the Blackboard help at pacollege.edu. That is checked on a daily basis by somebody who is much more knowledgeable about Blackboard than I am. You might also find it useful to go to the actual help section that Blackboard has set up. They have a number of demos and tutorials there that are really useful. A final thing that I want to emphasize is that you will be submitting your assignments, of course, online, and I will be reading them on my computer, which is a Microsoft computer. So anything you send to me needs to be readable on my computer. So that means if you're using OpenOffice on Google or you're using Mac, make sure that you're submitting something that I can read. So .doc is fine. RTF, I am able to read WordPerfect. I am able to read, I think it's ODS. I think that's the open document that Google uses. But you want to make sure that it is readable by a Microsoft computer whenever you submit something. Commonly, one thing that students are really curious about whenever they start a course is how they are going to be evaluated. How are you going to actually earn your grade? Now, there are a number of things that you'll be asked to do in the course. Each one of them is worth a relatively small amount of points. That way, no individual assignment is going to make or break you. I have listed essentially what each thing is worth. I've made it out of 1,000 points because that makes it very easy for me to grade and understand what your grade is going to be. Every week you will be involved in the discussion board. You can see that each week that's 20 points. You'll be asked to facilitate once a week. There's more details on each of these in the actual syllabus and on Blackboard. I already mentioned that you will have either journal reflections or wikis. You can see that each of these are basically worth about 2% of your grade. Quizzes are worth 11% of your grade. And then we will also have a project. Now the project essentially consists of a paper and an online presentation. To write a successful paper, you will be expected to submit a rough draft, and you will engage in a review of another student's draft and give them feedback. And then of course you'll submit the final paper and an online presentation. We do have a portfolio assignment as part of this course. If you would like to use the mental health project paper as part of the portfolio, you can. You are not required to do this, but if you would like to do that, you can upload it to Chalk and Wire, and I will give you feedback. I'll do the rubric on it. Right, I've scrolled down a little bit, and the next thing I want to emphasize is this issue of dishonesty and plagiarism. The reason why I want to emphasize this is not because I think the class is full of a whole bunch of cheaters. I don't think that at all. I think the class is most likely filled with people who are busy, they're doing their best, they are working their hardest and trying their darndest to be good students. However, I also recognize that sometimes students don't know how to write and cite properly when they are creating papers. And so sometimes a student will submit a paper to me that has no references or no in-text citations. Or they've written some in-text citations, but there are areas that aren't properly cited. Failure to cite somebody else's work within the actual paper is a form of plagiarism. And if you do it, it can be potentially cause for failure of the course. Most likely you would get a 0 on the assignment. So please look over this section on plagiarism. We also have a section on Blackboard that I'll show you in just a minute. So please do not commit plagiarism, whether it's on purpose or accidentally. Please review what counts as plagiarism. Another thing I want to emphasize is if you need any sort of special accommodations, you want to contact the ADA, or American Disabilities Act coordinator, and that person is in the Student Employee Health Office. I am happy to offer accommodations, but you do need to get some paperwork filed with those folks in the Student Employee Health. Another thing is I encourage anybody who hasn't taken a college course or hasn't taken an online course to look into what our Learning Resources Office offers. If you have difficulty with writing, this is another area where Learning Resources can be a great support for you. Another good support is if you are experiencing any challenges with anxiety, depression, an overwhelming amount of stress, or any other things that might be mental health issues, you do, as a student, qualify for 3 free counseling visits with a psychologist or a counselor in the community. And in order to access that, this is really a great service, you would call this number that's listed right here. I've scrolled down just a little bit more to get to the course requirements section. I am not going to go over this. You can read it. I've tried to be detailed here, and then I also have details on Blackboard. Scroll through here, you will see that there are grading rubrics. I've tried to list my expectations for each way that you can earn points in the course. So read it carefully, contact me with questions. All right, I've opened up the course schedule, and what I've tried to do is give you a week by week listing of what you can expect to do and what I will expect you to accomplish each week. So every week, or at least every week after this first one, you will have reading from the textbook that you have to do. Each week you are expected to contribute in some way to the online discussion board, and most weeks you'll have an additional assignment. It might be a journal reflection. It might be contributing to your group's wiki, perhaps a quiz, or it might be something related to the project that you have to do. And then each week, or at least most weeks, you will have videos to review. The numbers that are here in parentheses indicate the amount of time you can expect to spend viewing the video. All right, so keep that in mind. Every week, reading, discussion board, additional assignment, and videos. I've tried to create that pattern for you. I've gone back to the Blackboard page. One thing that you want to look at is the weekly content page. This has been divided into modules, but the first week, meaning next week, January 13th, the first week is really dedicated to getting you familiar with the course. So you click on the title here, and this lists everything that you're expected to do. And next week, I'll actually go into more detail about each one of these things. I also want to draw your attention to your groups page. Right now, I just have everybody in the green group because there's some kind of moving around across courses. But during this week, everybody is in the green group. So you'll click on this and you'll see that we have group discussion boards and group wikis, and those are things that you will be using regularly. Please do not post just yet to the discussion board. The first week you'll be asked to introduce yourself, and I'll talk more about that next week. Let's see, tips and resources. From here, there's an APA style guide, information about understanding if a source is reliable, and then anytime I create additional instructional videos, I'll post the links here. Now I've clicked on the discussions area right here. This all class discussion board you will use really for just one thing, and that is if you have any type of question or comment or concern that you think other people, other students would be interested in. So this is not where you would post your week-to-week discussion boards. That would go on the group discussion board. This all class discussions area is a place where you can post questions or concerns. And you can see I've uploaded things from last semester. Students have posted questions here. And then if you are able to answer another student's question, please do. I will check this regularly and answer questions, but absolutely, if you can help each other out, please do that. Also on this all class discussion board, I have given you examples of quality discussion board posts, so if you want to understand what I'm expecting of you, you can look here. That is all for now. I will make another video for the start of the course where I explain what you're going to be doing during the first week, but for those of you who have no experience with the college or no experience with online courses, I encourage you to click around the Blackboard site to become more familiar with the course and absolutely begin to review that syllabus. I look forward to meeting you online and working with you through the course of the semester.